I'm pretty sure most of us aren't over it yet. WWE released Samoa Joe.
What?
They released Samoa frickin' Joe.
What the fuck?
It's been 2 weeks and it still feels surreal that WWE decided to just cut bait on stars like Samoa Joe, the IIconics, Chelsea Green, Mickie James, and several others. I'm Rick Ucchino, and in fact there are quite a few bizarre things about the latest round of WWE releases. Number 5. WWE making budget cuts, supposedly. According to Fightful, head of talent relations John Laurinaitis made calls to the talent stating that budget cuts was the reason for their release. It was reportedly the same reason last year, but there seems to be a split in opinion as to whether it was worse to release the talent in 2020 or 2021. While ticket sales have naturally been hit on WWE's revenue, there are multiple other sources of income for the company. Not only are they in the midst of their big money Fox SmackDown deal, but they have various streams of broadcasting revenue. In fact, the new Peacock deal is estimated to be worth $1 billion, and it's only for exclusive streaming rights in the United States. Moreover, Business Wire pointed out that WWE's financial report from 2020-2021 mentioned operating income at $208.6 million, an increase of 79% or $92 million. This indicates that WWE is making more money now than ever. So it seems pretty bizarre, or dare I say BS, to use budget cuts as an excuse to release talent. Number 4, Jackson Ryker, now the only member of the Forgotten Sons still in WWE. The Forgotten Sons made their WWE main roster debut post-WrestleMania 36 back in 2020, and they were set to feud with The New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. However, it all came to a screeching halt in June after the tragic passing of George Floyd. While that should ideally have nothing to do with WWE, Jackson Ryker put out an ill-timed tweet praising then United States President Donald Trump. He put up a follow-up tweet in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, but it was too little too late for the court of public opinion. He got a lot of heat publicly from former WWE superstars as well as current ones in the back. This caused WWE to take all 3 men away from TV for several months, and the Forgotten Sons were quietly forgotten and then disbanded. And then later on, Steve Cutler and now Wesley Blake, who were the victims of what happened, paid the price and were both released from the company. After all of this, though, Jackson Ryker, he's still employed and is featured every week alongside Elias on Monday Night Raw. Number 3, the releasing of the IIconics. In an age of makeshift tag teams, the IIconics felt like a true unit and were arguably the most entertaining duo, not just in the women's division, but in all of WWE. It was an absolute shame and a total head-scratcher that their run together ended abruptly in a stipulation match on Raw with absolutely no build to it whatsoever. The entire handling of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay since their call-up to the main roster was never great, but it took an even more bizarre turn on April 15th this year when they were both released by the company. Since their split, the former women's tag team champions started getting less on-screen time and were rarely featured in marquee matches. WWE tried to pair up Peyton Royce with Lacey Evans for some reason, but that never really got going. And when Evans went on hiatus due to her pregnancy, Peyton Royce finally seemed to be ready for a singles run following her incredible Raw Talk promo and match against Asuka on Monday Night Raw. Over on SmackDown, meanwhile, Billie Kay proved to be the most consistently entertaining comedic character that WWE has had since R-Truth. It didn't matter how much screen time she had, she absolutely killed it and was always one of the talking points of the show. She was genuinely over with the audience, and the fans wanted more of her, not less. Letting these 2 women go was just the latest bizarre decision surrounding the IIconics and continues to make us question, why did they split them up in the first place? Number 2, the aforementioned releasing of Samoa Joe. While Samoa Joe proved to be more than useful in WWE as a performing talent, he served as a lot more than that. Since suffering a concussion in early 2020, he shifted from being an in-ring performer to being part of the Raw commentary team. He spent the entirety of the pandemic era behind the commentator's desk, and when he was suddenly removed from the team post-WrestleMania, it seemed to be all but a guarantee that he was set set to make his in-ring return. Some rumors suggested that Samoa Joe had a dispute with the company wanting to return to the ring. However, due to concussion protocols, WWE simply refused to clear him, leading to his release. Or that is what some rumors have suggested. But to have a superstar like Samoa Joe on the roster and underutilize him the way that they did seems to be a crime in the eyes of many fans. Perhaps the biggest shocker about Samoa Joe's tenure with the company is the fact that in his 6 years, he only had one WrestleMania match, and it lasted for exactly a minute. And finally, number 1, this all happening exactly a year later. The term Black Wednesday is a familiar one for WWE fans. It was perhaps one of the most unfortunate days in the company's history, or at least within the last few decades. After the COVID-19 pandemic hit, WWE only took a month to begin a mass release of talent, backstage employees, as well as people working in the front offices. This included the likes of Kurt Angle, Rusev, Zack Ryder, The Revival, Lio Rush, and the Good Brothers. WWE reportedly saved $32 million from the cost-cutting measure in 2020, but it was deemed a horrible move, and fans lashed out at the company and their decision to fire employees right at the start of a pandemic. The fact that the new set of releases happened on the exact same day is scary, and it is seemingly setting a scary precedent. Will April 15th continue to be a dark day in WWE annually? Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a year to find out. And that is our list this time around. Make sure to give us the old thumbs up there. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews and more.